Alright, welcome to a Pro Tools tutorial on how to navigate your way through a basic mix. First thing you need to do is have these files in front of you here. If you don't have them on your computer already, you need to go to the MIC server and you'll find a folder there called Student Data, and then you'll find a folder inside that called Music and a folder inside that called Pro Tools, and inside that you'll find this, a folder called AT-Mag Mix. Copy that to your hard drive or your documents folder, and then we want to double click on the file here called atmagmix.ptf. I'm going to run you through a lot of different things today with Pro Tools. Some of it you might use, some of it you may not use straight away, but at least you'll have a very good overview of what Pro Tools can do and what it's all about. Okay, so this is Pro Tools. What we're looking at here is one of Pro Tools' two main windows. This is called the Edit window, and the other option here is the Mix window. So if I go up to the Window menu and choose Mix, this is the other view. They're the only two views. Rather than going up to here and sort of selecting which window I want, there is a shortcut. Over here on the side, it says Command equals, and if I click that on my keyboard, the command button and then equals, it flips back and forth between the two views. It's very convenient. So let's go back to the Edit window. Now what you're looking at here is a whole bunch of horizontal different coloured tracks. These represent different instruments or different microphones that we use to record this music. So if I go up to the top right hand area of the screen here, this is where I've got my playback controls. So if I hit play right now, the song starts. So I've got stop, rewind, fast forward, all the usual stuff. Now you notice that the song started playing about 15 seconds into the song. So if I want to play right from the start, I need to know how to place my playback marker in the right spot. So if you see this little blinking vertical line here, that's the playback marker. To move it somewhere else, I've got to click along this grey ribbon along the top called the timeline. And anywhere that I click, that's where the song will start playing from. So you get the idea. Now to go right to the very start, I can click there, or try and click about there, but that's still not perfectly at the start. So if I go up to the playback controls and press the back button, that takes it right to the very, very start. There we go. Alright, now there's a keyboard shortcut for play and stop as well. Those play and stop is something that you're going to be using all the time, so it's best to learn a shortcut if possible. All you have to do is press the space bar for play and the space bar again for stop. Very, very helpful. Okay, if you scroll all the way down, you'll see there's many different instruments. You've got toms, you've got two mics on the kick, two mics on the snare, a couple of microphones combined into a stereo overhead track, two room mics, then you've got the bass, vocal. Going down a bit further, you've got two microphones on one guitar amp there, and two microphones on this guitar amp here. You can tell that it's the same guitar because this one says Guitar Ben, and that one says Guitar Ben, and this one says Guitar Kieran, Guitar Kieran. So obviously that was the name of the musician who was playing that guitar. By the way, this is a song that was made freely available on the audiotechnology.com.au website for people to practice their mixing with. So I believe it's a Sydney band. I don't know the name of the band, but if you go to the Audio Technology website, the article that this came from was called Moot or Mute. So you can look that up. Okay, now let's go to the other window, the Mix window. I'm going to press Command equals, flip over. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the same tracks, but instead of being represented horizontally, they're represented vertically, and much the same way that you would find a mixing desk. So let's take one of the tracks. Let's say the guitar track here. Now, if I by the way, what this button here does, S means solo. So if I press that button, we're only hearing that track. We're not hearing any of the other tracks. If I take solo off, suddenly we can hear all the rest of the tracks again. M means mute. And what that does is it turns off that track so that all the others are playing except this one. Alright, I'm going to put on solo so we can hear it a bit better. Now this thing here is called the pan knob. Now what this does, it sends the sound of this track to either the left speaker or the right speaker. So if I press play, turn the dial to the left, you should hear the sound move to the left speaker. If I move it to the right, you'll hear it in the right speaker. Put that back in the middle. Okay. Going a bit further up, we've got these things here called slots. They're called insert slots. Now what these are, they're like little empty slots where you can insert a sound effect, and anything that you put in these slots will change the sound of the track. So let's demonstrate that. So click on an empty slot, any one of them, and go to the plugin list, and you can see here there's dozens and dozens of different sound effects to choose from. Probably the best one to start with would be EQ, which is the most common and arguably the most important sound effect of all. What this does is it changes the tone of an instrument so that it enhances it or exaggerates it or allows it to blend better within the mix. Okay, this looks a bit complicated, but it's actually quite easy. The red button means bass, the yellow knob is mid, and the blue knob is treble. And the ones in between, orange, that's low mid, and green is high mid. So if I press play with the spacebar, I'm going to adjust the mid knob, I'm going to turn it up, and that guitar sounds a bit more nasal, a bit more bitey. But if I pull it back, if I turn the knob down, it sort of loses all its guts. It sounds very gutless. So I'll put that back where it was, up to 0. If I adjust, say, the bass control, not much happens in this case because there's not much bass in a guitar. Bass is sort of more of a mid-range instrument. So let me adjust the low mid and you should hear, let's wait till the guitar starts playing again. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to turn the bass up, the low mid up. There we go, it sounds a lot deeper now. If I pull that out, the guitar sounds very thin. So I'll put that back where it was, about 0-ish. There we go. Now if I go to the high mid, turn that up, the guitar sounds a lot brighter, or if I pull it back, a lot duller. Every instrument is going to be different. EQ, there's no one way to use it, and certainly on different instruments, EQ will have a different effect. So that's something for you to play around with and use your ears. Let's take that effect away. So if I click on this little dot next to the plugin and choose no insert. Okay, let's try a different one. Let's try something a little less subtle. We're going to try... by the way, most of your guitar-related effects are under modulation and harmonic. So there's like a wah-wah effect there. 11 is a guitar amp simulator. Let's try TalkBox. You can get some pretty interesting sounds using TalkBox. Alright. Now, if you don't understand what all these knobs do, it doesn't really matter. You can muck around with them and see what they do. But the easiest way to get started is to go to this thing here called the preset menu. And if you click on that, you've got all of these preset settings that someone else has gone and put together for you. So let's try the Crazy Yodeler. If I click that, all the settings change, and I'll press play with the spacebar. And it makes the guitar sort of sound like it's vocalizing. Oh, yeah. And let's try a different one. Let's try Strange Voices. Similar sort of thing, but it's got its own sound. Let's try Underwater. Yeah, it sounds kind of underwatery. Maybe we'll try Boing. Cool. You could even, I mean, you could put these effects on anything. You could actually put the talkbox effect on the singer if you wanted to. Let's try that. I'll press now I'm going to drag this effect over onto the vocalist's track. Press solo.
It feels like I'm dawning into a current dream without memory.
Let's try the crazy yodeler.
It feels like I'm dawning into a current dream.
Yeah, so it's a sort of a fun sound effect. What I think you should do right now is I think you should experiment with all the different sounds that there are to play with. I think you should go through each track and listen individually. That's the kick. That's the snare. Vocals. It's not very often that you get to listen to a full mix that's been recorded by a band and you can explore it and listen to every separate part individually. So this is a good opportunity to do that. Another thing you might like to do is muck around with the panning controls and see if you can get the mix to sound the way you like. So for instance, if I have a mix like this, I like to pan one guitar to the left and one guitar to the right. I think it makes the mix sound a lot wider. So let's try that. Panning one of the mics to the left. There we go. So now we can hear one guitar clearly on the left and one on the right, and the whole thing sounds more interesting to me. Okay. Lastly, over here on the very right hand side, where it says Andrew's Mix, this is a mix that I've done of this song. It's on mute at the moment, but if you take the mute away and put it on solo, you'll be able to hear my version of this mix. I'll put that back on mute. Alright, now I guess it's time for you to just go crazy and have some fun. Good luck.